All right, in our last video, we got introduced to while loops, and we're here to practice that idea by looking at a program called PowersOfTwo. PowersOfTwo uses a while loop to print the first 10 powers of 2, that is 2 to the 0 through 2 to the 9th, and then we see the expected result here, right? I just want you to print that off per line. If you think you know what you're doing, now would be a good time to pause and actually try it out, but I'm going to walk through a solution now. I'm in IntelliJ. I'm going to create a new project by going to File, New Project. We're going to go Next, Next. And I'm going to create the project name PowersOfTwo. IntelliJ creates that subfolder for me, which is exactly what I want. I'll expand my project folder, right click on the SRC, and make a new Java class called PowersOfTwo. I'm going to plug in a main method with PSVM. And now we're like ready to think. I ultimately think about the variables here, right? What variables do you need? What is changing over the span of this number range? It's not our base, it's just simply our exponent, right? So what I'm going to do is create a variable, we'll call it exp, that represents our exponent. You could spell that out if you want. And our initial exponent is 0, right? I'm now ready to start looping. I'm going to plug in my syntax for a while loop, and we actually have two options here. We can go ahead and think about the condition, which may or may not be harder, or we can think about the body. I kind of like thinking about the body early on when we're talking about loops and then worry about conditions later. So let's come up with the body. Let's think about what would be happening here. Over the span of numbers, I basically want to calculate what 2 to my exponent is and then print that off. Right? So with each iteration, I'm going to print math.pow. In this case, I'm going to need, in order to use math.pow, I need a base, which is 2, and I need an exponent. Exponent in this case is this variable. Okay. Now, that's going to happen, and we basically want to do the first 10. So we'll keep doing that as long as exponent is less than 10. Right away, IntelliJ is highlighting this. It says variable exponent is not updated inside loop. Who cares? What's the big deal? I'm going to tell this to run, and we'll see what the big deal is. This is going to cause an infinite loop, as we saw in our last video, and it's the most common reason that infinite loops occur. I have a condition, but I never actually approach that condition. Right? It is true initially. 0 is less than 10. I enter the body. I figure out what 2 to the 0 power is, which is 1.0. I then print that off. However, exponent doesn't change. So when I come back up and check my condition, it's still 0. And I'm asking, is 0 less than 10? Yeah, we do it again. Okay, so after I figure this out and print it, I need to then update my exponent. So exponent is just going to increase by 1. It's going to be what it currently is plus 1. It's going to increase by 1. I'm going to right click in free space, or I can just hit this play button and tell it to go again. And there it is. I don't really have much to add here other than you could rewrite this condition, right? We could say another way that you could write this condition is saying that exp is less than or equal to 9. Why don't I actually just go ahead and show that? And we leave our 10 as our comment. So if I tell that one to run, I'm going to get the exact same results, right? Of note, it's just a minor difference here, right? If you take off the equal sign, but you do get different results. We're missing the final one. That's all I got. This has been Powers of Two.